Hello, I'm Eloise and this is my channel, and for today's video I am going to be reviewing something very exciting and something I've been wanting to get my hands on for a very long time, but I've just thought to myself, do I need another palette? I do have a huge box of around 50 palettes already. Do I need another one? And the answer was absolutely. This is not just a palette, this is the Sosu x Keilidh Urban Bible palette, and just look at these. I don't have another palette with all of these colours and I'm just obsessed. It is going to be the perfect travel palette for me because I love all of these colours, and the mirror is huge as well, so I can't wait to take this to New York with me tomorrow, Tuesday the 26th of February. This video is going to be up tonight, Monday the 25th, so I've got to film and edit this all in one day, so wish me luck. Not only did I get the Urban Bible palette, I got the Urban Rebel brush collection. I pretty much got this collection just for this brush here, this tiny weeny little blender that I've seen all over her videos, and I just had to get my hands on it. And the reason I got this palette actually was because if you haven't seen a few videos ago, I will link it in the cards here for you to go check out, and in the description box below if you want to watch afterwards. But I recently ripped my trousers from Misguided when I was doing a masterclass for a college. So embarrassing, I know. So anyway, if you want to hear about that story, that's in another video for another time. So basically, the reason I got this palette is because Misguided gave me a £30 credit note to spend online. I wasn't happy about it because I just wanted to refund the money, but I'm always shopping on Misguided, so it wasn't too bad. And then I saw that these were on there, so I pretty much got the palette for free, even though it was still my money, but you know what I mean. And then I just thought I may as well, because I'm not spending an extra £30, I may as well get the brush collection as well. So thanks for that, Misguided. And yeah, today, please excuse my hair. I've just washed it and it's air drying, ready to go for New York tomorrow. I am aware how ridiculous my hair looks right now, but please excuse me. I have done 3 looks using the palette today. It's taken me a hot minute to film this. However, it is what you guys wanted. I always put on my Instagram story, if you're not following me on Instagram, it's on the screen here. I always put on my Instagram story what you guys want to see, and a lot of you said, do more of your videos that uses one palette for 3 looks, so that's exactly what I've done today. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. If you wanna see the 3 looks that I've created using this palette, then make sure you keep on watching. Please excuse my hair because it is a travesty. I've just washed it and I'm just letting it air dry. First of all, we really need to blank out these hella veiny eyelids. So I'm using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in the shade Enigma. I'm gonna use this big ass mirror that comes in the palette, and I'm just gonna pat that in with my finger. So that's feeling lovely and tacky, and now it's ready to go in with this beautiful colour called Unruly with the SK02 brush. So it's very similar to the Zoeva 227. And the one thing that I love about them is that they've got black bristles, so they don't stain like my Zoeva brushes do. They're a bugger to clean. So what I'm gonna do first, and what I always do when I'm doing bolder eye looks, is place down my middle shade first. And this is such a gorgeous colour, and this is the one that Keilidh always says goes down as dark purple but it blends out to pink, and you can see that it absolutely has on this side, and it's honestly unreal. I'm just popping that into my outer corner and bringing that up through the crease as well, and just really pushing it in there. And I want a really nice lay down of colour. And then when I look straight forward, you can still see the edge of that colour. And now that I've got most of that product off the brush, I'm just going to ever so lightly just buff around the edges to slightly soften them. So when I go in with my next colour, which is going to be lightest and going to go above this colour, it's going to be so much easier to blend. Okay, so now taking the SK03, which is this tiny little blending brush, I'm going to take a mixture of the shade Veil and Unruly, which is how Keilidh suggests to blend this colour out and to get that pink shade. And I've never done this before. I've never mixed a colour with white to blend it out, but I'm absolutely going to be doing this from now on because it works so well. I'm just really lightly buffing over the top, and it looks like it's going patchy, but we're going to reinforce that first colour that we went in with in a minute. We just need to get that blend nice first. And it's gonna look like a hot mess until the very end, I promise you. Oh, I've got a really itchy nose. So now I'm gonna take more Unruly and I'm just gonna slightly go above that bit where you can see it's very patchy. Because obviously we've blended it away. And that just brings it back to life. Much better, huh? And I like to keep my blend quite tight, so I'm not bringing this lighter pink shade too far up. I like to keep it quite tight to that darker shade, if that makes sense. So that you can still see each of the colours. Now I'm going to take the bullet brush that's in the kit, which is an SK04 brush, really nice pointed pencil brush, and I'm going to take the shade Sin, which is a really lovely deep black, and I'm just going to start to pat that into that outer corner and on the lash line. I'm just patting that into that outer C shape there. And then I'm going to go back to my SK02 with a mixture of Unruly and Sin on my brush, and that's going to really help to blend. Okay, so that is what we're looking like so far. Love it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I need a slightly wetter base because I'm going to go in with the shade Chaos, which she says in her video is more of like a topper, but I wanted to use it on its own because I'm just obsessed with that sort of oil slick look. So I'm just going to take some Original Eyeshadow Primer by Urban Decay, take it on the back of my hand and just warm it with my finger. And I'm just going to press that over the lid, and I'm just patting that over the top of that sticky base, all over the lid. And then what I like to do is just run that through the crease so it's nice and buffed. How gorgeous is that colour? And then I just took my finger just to make sure it's extra impactful. I do get a little bit of fallout with that one. Great, and it's sticking to my skin. Love that. Hopefully it will be less obvious when I do my under eyes. But now I just like to take the shade Mercy, which is quite a flyaway colour. So be careful of that one. And I'm just popping that in that inner corner. I love the mix of those two colours. So pretty. I'm just going to take the SK02 again with Unruly, and I'm just going to wiggle that on my lower lash line. And then my SK03 with a touch of Veil and Unruly. Oh, I feel like this side looks so much better because of that fallout. Ah, so annoying. Then I'm taking Sin on that SK04. Okay, that's the best I'm gonna get. I will try and fix this fallout. If not, we're just gonna take photographs of this side. So I'm gonna do my liner, tap out some black in the outer corner, finish my lashes off, come back and show you the finished look. Okay, so now we're going for something a little bit more cool toned, and I really wanted to test out the purple in the palette. So I've just primed my eyes with Enigma eyeshadow primer potion, obviously, and I'm actually not going to use one of the brushes from the collection. I'm going to use a Zoeva 228 because I didn't really have a big fluffy brush like this. And I'm going to take the shade Freedom, and I was pleasantly surprised with how this performed. Look at that. That is one dip. So good. And then I just wung it out? Is that a word? I winged it out a little bit. These just blend so beautifully. I'm really impressed. So this is going to be more of a cool toned look because I never do cool tones, so I thought why not? So now I'm going to take Sacrifice on the SK02, which is that flat, almost 227 Zoeva looking brush. And I'm just going to fit that right into the socket. I love brushes like this because you can literally just boop, 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 into the crease, and it deepens it right up. Okay, so now I'm going to take the flat brush, which is the SK05, and I'm going to take the shade Oath and just pack that on all over the lid. This lovely deep grey. And then I'm going to take the SK03 and a little bit of that Oath and just really buff out that inner corner. We don't want any harsh lines. Then you can take a little bit of Oath into the crease as well. I really like those colours together. That's nice. Okay, so what did I do next? I think I took the SK02 and that purple, and I'm just gonna Try and not get fallout this time. This lower lash line never goes as nice as the other one. I don't know why it does that to me. Nothing a bit of mascara won't hide. So now I'm going to take the SK04, the pencil brush, and a little bit of Sin, which is the black. Just push that really close to the lashes. And then I took this tiny little SK06 and the shade Myth, which is again another flyaway shade, so probably could do with some setting spray. However, it worked quite nicely for this inner corner. That just gives a little something, something, you know? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is pop my lashes on and then I'll be right back. So I just created this. It took me a sodding hour, and then my eyeliner smudges. I hate the way it looks, I hate cut creases, so I'm gonna take this off and do something else. So instead I came up with this. So I'm getting so tired now, my eyes are really sore, but we're gonna power through and we're gonna do this final look together, and it shows when we stand hand in hand, make our dreams come true. Comment down below if you know what that's from. So let's do this. Eyeshadow primer. I'm just excited this is almost over. This is probably why I've avoided doing the 3 looks in one palette video for a long time, because it just hurts my eyes so much and it takes forever to film, and I've got so much eyelash glue in my eyelashes as well. So we're gonna take Unruly SK02 and stamp that on, just like the first look we did. But instead of keeping it quite rounded, I'm gonna pull it out because this has got a dramatic wing. Not just like a blown out smoky eye like the second one. Then you bring it back in. So now that we've got this shape down, we're gonna go in with Majesty with the same brush and just tickle over those edges. Is this even? I don't know. I've given up at this point. So now onto the SK03 and Faith, which is this bright yellow. I'm gonna pop that over the top. This is basically your blending shade. This is gonna be completely different to the first eye. I can already tell. It's okay. Usually you don't do one eye at a time. So if I did them both at the same time, I would have remembered what shape I bloody made. Can you see how easy that blended out? This is why I just love this palette. This is brilliant. Definitely worth the money. Yeah, love that. I don't even need to go back in with Unruly. I'm just gonna take Sin and just really smoke up that lower lash line and outer corner as well. Yeah, it's looking good. Right, I believe at this point, I put down Unruly underneath the lower lashes to join up to the top. Now every single look that I've done today has mucked up at this point. So let's try and not do that today. That looks joined up, doesn't it? Oh, okay. Right, Majesty, same brush over the top and on those edges. Okay, this is looking good, guys, this is looking good. Now in with the pencil brush and Sin. Getting excited because it's actually going well. I'm just popping that really close to the lower lashes. I really like this brush for black on the lower lashes because it's got a really, really fine point. Really gets in between the lashes for you. Love it! Back in with Majesty. I'm just patting that over the black to help blend it. Just keep going back in with the colours as and when you need to. Yeah, cool. I'm ready for the cut crease. That was super quick. Definitely better than the first time because I was a bit cautious after that cut crease I did. I needed to just take my sweet time, you know. So now I'm going to take the Infallible More Than Concealer by L'Oreal. Really good cut crease concealer. Taking that on the back of my hand, and I'm actually going to take the Zoeva 144 brush, which is this massive flat brush, but it's great for cut creases because literally 3 stamps and your cut crease is done. I would have used this, I did use this SK05 for my big cut crease that failed, and I find the edge isn't sharp enough. So I like to just I've worked the concealer into the brush. That's really nice and fine. And I'm just making sure whenever I make a move, I look straight forward and see if that's high enough, if that makes sense. I'm just using the shape of the brush to do the cut crease. That's why it's so easy with this brush, because you can get it really super flat. Cool, they're pretty bang on, aren't they? And then I just take my finger to blend the edge so there's not too much product there, so when you blend the black in it doesn't really stick to the concealer, because sometimes that can happen. And then I'm just making sure that there's an even amount of concealer on the lid, so it's not too wet in some places, just slightly blending out that edge. Okay, now onto the SK05. I need to get used to these names of brushes, because I know Zoeva numbers like the back of my hand. So now I'm taking Aura, which is this stunning teal blue right in the centre there. I found these colours work so much better when they're not wet, because they're quite a crumbly formula. It's almost like putting a pigment on your lid, if that makes sense. And because I've got that tacky base, I don't need to wet the brush. I'm just popping that right into the centre and leaving this gap and this gap free of the blue, so we can put the pink and the purple there. So now I'm flipping my brush. You can see I've got purple on this side and blue on that side. That's how you blend the two together. So I'm going to flip my brush and pick up the purple. Can you see it's quite like crumbly? So they're not the most amazing shimmers, especially if you don't have something sticky underneath, because they're quite crumbly, but they look pretty when you've really packed them on. Okay, now onto the SK06 and Mercy. Oh, can you see what I mean? Like, they're really crumbly. And then taking the blue and just ever so slightly blending them together, so there's no harshness. Now I'm taking that same brush for the pink and just popping that on that lower lash line, like we did with the previous look, but with the pink instead. Cute! And then finally, gonna take the SK04 that had the black on it. I'm just gonna blend that ever so slightly into that purple. Eyes are at the end. I'm gonna do the liner, the lashes, come back and show you the final look. Eee! We did it! Wow! So we did it, we made it. We did 3 looks using the Sosu x Keilidh Urban Bible palette, using also the Urban Rebel brushes. If you can't already tell, the pigment is incredible. The shimmers are a little bit crumbly. It doesn't bother me too much, just use your fingers or use a tacky base. So I like to either use my original eyeshadow primer by Urban Decay, which is the clear one, or just tap over a little bit of concealer just so you've got a little bit more of a tack and the shimmer sticks better to it. But as you can tell, I've had absolutely no problems with the shimmers because it just looks insane. This palette is a must, honestly. Incredible, worth every single penny, and you can create so many different looks with it. Look at what I've done today, and I haven't played with colour in such a long time, so it's definitely inspired me to get back into my colour boots. If you've got a few pennies lying around, definitely go out and treat yourself. I have been here for about 2.5 hours. I think it's my time to sign off. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe and all that jazz. I'm Eloise, this is my channel and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.